Right, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Like, to begin with.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Gunfinger Gate. That's what it's been bandished as around. Right. This is the first time we were doing it. And I wanted to end abruptly. I didn't want any, nonsense at the goodbye. And my head, for some reason, just went, that'll be good if I do that.
I can't look at the replay of it.
And so what you might have seen on socials of the boys just pissing themselves laughing was immediately after I did this to sign off the pod the last time we recorded.
Well, you say immediately, but there was that moment of silence as me and Dan watched you and then looked at one another and were like, do we? And then we just lost it.
It was a moment of madness, to be honest with you. I mean...
Bit of a brain fart.
Oh, yeah. You can say that again. I mean... we have to run it now, I think, every... But we've all got to do it. We've all got to
I don't think so, because we're not down the lens,
contract.
mate. We're not down the lens.
Yeah, but you can turn.
That's still not going to be down the lens. I think it's your pod.
Yeah, it's my pod, and I want you to embarrass yourself like I embarrass
3,
myself.
2, 1, and we'll all do it.
Moment of madness from me. But I think it's got a lasting legacy now.
Yeah.
I think, sometimes the best ideas are the impromptu worst ideas at the time. And I think it's going to be, Gunfinger Gate has kicked off this podcast.
Last week we had the Blood Gate.
Yeah. Yes. There's got to be a gate in every... Some sort of gate in every
well,
episode.
I can't wait to find out what this one's going to be.
Right, we got through a lot last week. We had fun, didn't we? We had a good episode last week.
We had joy, we had fun.
You've found out about Rapini Thou since?
Oh, trying to search his name. How do you spell it?
Caaucaunibcua.
Who's this now, sorry?
His full name is Rapini Thou Unibuka.
Oh, God.
Or Thuka. But it just gets... on the legendary commentary, he got called Thou. Move on.
Okay, so the first thing we are talking about, the 2000s gave us something that, in the world of cricket, has changed the game that as we know it forever. I'm wearing one today. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup. So in 2003, the first competitive game of T20s were played in England on the 13th of June in 2003 between counties in the 2020 Cup. Before that, in April 2002, there was a big vote at Lords. So all the county bosses came together and the ECB members, and they were going to vote on whether to pass T20 cricket into the next season. And the then ECB chair, Lord McLaurin, on his way to Lords, was making frantic phone calls to the bosses of the counties that were on the fence to get that through. And they actually won 11-7 in favour of T20. Counties really embraced it. Notts had players posed topless. Worcestershire put a jacuzzi on the boundary at certain ones. Tickets were being sold cheap. And even Glamorgan, our very own county, encouraged fans to wear pyjamas to the games. Surrey were the first winners of the competition in 2003.
Same old.
And
changed the game, but they still win.
And over 240,000 fans attended in that month that the T20 was played, which was 4 times more than the previous Benson and Hedges Cup in the previous years, which is a mad name for a cricket tournament now, isn't it? After a cigarette brand.
My granddad used to have a Benson and Hedges umbrella.
Well, the Benson and Hedges Cup or from the fag brand?
From the cigarette brand to be.
Was that like a loyalty reward?
I don't know. He didn't smoke, so I was quite confused.
He didn't speak.
No, he didn't smoke.
Oh, I thought you said he didn't smoke, and I thought you just got the tense wrong. And I was like, maybe he didn't speak because he'd smoke 100 a day.
And Dan's just forgotten how to talk. Like,
I can't speak.
I can't speak. Run over the field.
But one of so many things like really, really helped this. Like the county's really embracing it. The finals day element as well, I think, is massive. Like, it's such a good idea, isn't it? 2 semi-finals on the day, final in the night, 3 games of cricket for however much, I don't know how much it is now. I think it's about 60 quid, 70 quid, is it?
They always
like
sell out in Edgbaston like a year ahead.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing about short form cricket. I get why like the TV side of it are pursuing ever shorter formats of the game. But I think as a fan, if you're going to the game, one of the charms of cricket is that full day thing. So yeah, getting 3 games of T20 in a day is almost as good as you going to a one day international or going to a day of a test match.
And the cricket is, it's exciting, isn't it? Like different formats apparently had been tested before, like a Super Sixes cricket, a sort of pairs cricket.
In Hong Kong?
I don't know much about it. When I was researching, it just came up that they tried different shorter formats because there was a big survey that the ECB did prior to T20 cricket being introduced. And it was all about, the main thing to come out of it was that fans weren't attending because the matches were too long. So they did various things to try and shorten it. But I think, I don't know what you boys think, T20, I think they have got absolutely perfect. I think the format is brilliant. The rules are brilliant. 5 bowlers, 4 overs each maximum. So you're getting through quite a lot of bowlers. The power play, that sort of thing. The coloured kits and all of that sort of stuff. I think they've just absolutely nailed it. And I know my favourite format of cricket is still Test cricket. I still think that is the ultimate challenge, and it should be the pinnacle for any cricketer. But I think T20 is so good, and it's been such a valuable addition to the game.
I like it, but I don't know for you when England and Wales won the 2019 World Cup, 50 over, and then we won the T20 in, 2002, end of 02 or end of 03? No, it must have been end of 02.
No, it was
late 2002.
What, England?
Yeah. I know we'd won way before that, but we also won half the players that were in the 2019 World Cup then won the T20. We became the first, I believe, the first
2002
nation.
Then I was like, it wasn't even invented then.
No, 2022.
Yeah, they won in the West Indies as well in 2009, I think, or around that period as well.
But I just, for me, I remember watching those 2 games, the more recent ones, and not only was the drama in the 50 over one far greater than the drama in the jeopardy in the T20. That can happen in any game. One can be better than the other. But it just felt like more winning the 50 over Cricket World Cup. The T20 World Cup, to me, I'm sure it's fun to be involved in. It just feels a bit gimmicky. Was I sad that we then lost our crown this year in the West Indies and America? Not really. I wasn't that fussed. It doesn't feel to me like it's the same thing.
I think I get what you mean. I if I was an England player or coach or whatever, I'd probably rather win the 50 over World Cup over the 2020.
Yeah.
And I'd rather win perhaps an Ashes series over them both, or something or whatever the equivalent would be. But I think maybe in club cricket, T20 is more prestigious. I think international cricket has Test cricket. I know there's the 4-day format of it, but it's nowhere near as high level as Test cricket. Test cricket's the ultimate.
No, I think you're right. Club cricket, T20 kind of feels like the perfect format. Yeah. You get the decent kits, you get the crowds there, you get a better, a wider demographic of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the one-day cup in club cricket, in county cricket, it's not.
No, it's the best competition.
You reckon?
Glamorgan won it this year. It's the best competition out there.
We won it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Fickle.
But we actually did win in a T20 format this year because it got rained off. So
I mean, but I think you're right. I think in terms of club cricket, for what it set out to achieve, I think it's done that and then some. I watched a video yesterday when I was researching that, all the counties when it was first introduced had all these gimmicks. They had, apparently there was a remote control car that if the batsman got out for a duck would circle around him and take the piss out of him, and one of them just smashed it with his bat, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had, cheerleaders and dancers and musicians and whatever. And what they were finding is they didn't actually need that because the cricket was so good. The fans were enjoying the game so much that they didn't actually need all those gimmicks. Atomic Kitten, I think, performed at the first finals day in 2003 because they were obviously popular back then. But just like, what do you think? Like, obviously, we've seen the introduction now of the IPL, and that's become the biggest
money-wise.
The biggest competition in cricket, the most valuable competition in cricket, and obviously now every country's got their own version of a domestic T20 tournament. Like, what do you think the impact of it has been? Like, we're in 2024 now. It's only 21 years old, and it's changed the game, hasn't it, forever?
Yeah, it's probably, as you said, the most entertaining one, like short format wise. I always look forward to going to the T20s down Glamorgan in the summer. It's always a good laugh. It's a hell of a piss up. But like, I don't know, there's some party vibes to it. Fancy dress, a lot of work people go there. Also attracts like junior clubs as well. And Glamorgan used to have like 8,000-9,000 there, but the crowds have come down a bit recently. I don't know if it's because of the 100.
Yeah, more than that, don't they?
Well, it depends. If it's a Friday night, they get a good crowd.
It's about 16,000 odd, I think, the Safari Garden.
Yeah,
so it's pretty full on a T20 night.
I think it is a good. They need to keep the T20 and scrap the 100.
Ooh, interesting.
What do you think?
I don't know whether it's because, so county cricket for me, I grew up in a minor county, and I was realising last summer when the 100 was on that I could actually choose to support over half the counties based on the fact that either I've lived in them or I've got family, very close family that live in them. Because I'd probably go for Yorkshire over any others because most of my family live up in Yorkshire. But because of that, I don't have a real strong attachment to any of the county sides. So the county championship, the One Day Cup, the T20, I'm not that wedded to it. I quite like the new formats of the 100 and then mixing up the sides. As someone that's like, I think it's really important that women's sport is put on an equal footing to men's, and so I do quite like the women's games and the men's games being double headers in the 100, and there being, as much coverage and as many teams in the women's as there is in the men's. Also, for the years the 100 has been on, my closest cricket ground has been the Oval, living in South London. And so going there to watch the Invincibles be invincible has been pretty good fun. So from that point of view, I quite like the 100.
Yeah, I think the 100 I think serves another purpose again. Like you mentioned, the women's game there. That's massive for the women's game, isn't it? Having those double headers. And I think, although I don't mind the 100, I'm not opposed to it as a format. I don't tend to watch it unless it's on. As you said, I find it difficult to kind of stick loyal to one of those because they are franchises, aren't they? I know we've got Welsh Fire, so obviously I would naturally support them. But again, it's not. I don't have the same affinity for them as I do for Glamorgan. And that's kind of what I like about the 2020 is I think it's new cricket meets old traditional cricket almost, because you've kept the same counties. It's all the same traditional counties that are still playing the county championship. And you've added a little bit of flair and a little bit, the coloured kits and the nicknames and some like Surrey don't have a nickname, Glamorgan don't have a nickname, Somerset, like if they don't want one, they've chosen to just go with their county name, and I like that about it. They can choose to either be the Birmingham, like the Birmingham Bears have changed from Warwickshire to become the Birmingham
Glamorgan
Bears.
used to be called the Welsh Dragons.
They did, yeah, but now they've just gone back to Glamorgan, haven't they? And I like that kind of some have chosen to stick to their traditional names.
Durham Jets.
And then some have, like Warwickshire have actually gone a step further and changed their first name to Birmingham because they see that maybe as working out for them, leaning into that sort of thing. So I think for what it's set out to achieve, it's been so good for cricket. But, there's a lot of people, Michael Holding famously, when he's asked about 2020 cricket, why doesn't he watch 2020 cricket? And he replies, because it's not cricket. So there are still some of those traditionalists who just don't value it at all.
But your point about it being, 21, 22 years old now? 21?
Yeah, 21.
Is the fact that now there are not only like kids who've only ever known a cricket world where T20 was a part of it. There are people actually playing the game at the top level who are younger than T20. And so I think that attitude of, oh, it's not cricket, is the same one that people would have had when one-day cricket, 50-over cricket first came about.
Yeah.
And people have currently about the 100. And it's just that kind of attitude that as long as the game hangs around, which, as you say, T20's made real roots, every country's now got their own league, there are going to be people that will be like, well, of course it's cricket, because I've always known it to be a part of cricket.
Well, that's where the money's from, isn't it? The T20, like the IPL is the best example. The money that gets pumped into that league is absolutely ridiculous. And you get these boys, like these days you've got players who only play the white ball stuff, you know? So, yeah.
I think the other thing for me as well about it is it's not just at the elite level. Like all of my junior cricket growing up was T20. When I got into playing hardball cricket, it was all T20, and it worked because you could play the midweek leagues. You could, we could get home from school when we were still in school in May and June and whatever. Parents, when they finished work, could take us to a game and we'd get it in before the sun went down and stuff. And that was a huge, huge factor, I think, in getting kids to play cricket as well. If you only had that longer format, you'd have to do it on weekends and spend all day there, which parents might not be able to do. Kids probably wouldn't want to spend all day at cricket. And obviously, when you take it a little bit more seriously, you go and play senior cricket on the weekend, then you play the longer formats, or if you move up the levels. But just for getting players into playing cricket, I think it's worth its weight in gold. Did you play it growing up as well, like junior cricket?
Yeah, I only played T20 until this summer was the first time I played more than 20 overs.
Really?
Yeah, because I've obviously stopped playing, but then when I was playing junior cricket, it'd be only T20s, and obviously you'd want to play a bit more because you might only play one game a week. But yeah, no, T20 were good, after when I was in school, it'd literally be, oh, you got cricket tonight, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You'd be hoping it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
And then you'd be looking forward to that so much because it's just good laugh. And yeah, it keeps probably the younger side more interested in the game. I couldn't imagine a 12-year-old wanting to stand in the field for 50 overs on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Unless they are really good and love the game,
Moving on to the second feature today. So we're talking about rebrands today. So this is popular kind of in American sport a lot. A lot of teams move cities, and it's quite normal to them. It's happened loads and loads over the years. It obviously causes quite a lot of tension sometimes, but they've kind of got used to it. But we're gonna each go around and tell a little bit about a rebrand. So the one I've got is it's actually a person who's rebranded himself. So have you ever?
In what way now?
So have either of you ever heard of Ron Artest?
No.
So Ron Artest was an NBA player who played for the Indiana Pacers. He played for some other teams as well. I can't remember who it was, but around about sort of, I think he started in the mid-90s and retired in sort of 2005-ish, something like that. But in 2011, he changed his name to Meta World Peace. Meta is a traditional Buddhist word that means loving kindness and friendliness to all. And world peace was meant to inspire and bring youth together around the world. He is now called Meta Sandiford Artest. Sandiford is the surname of his second wife. But why I've chosen this is because of the irony of it. So he's obviously tried to inspire people to come together and be kind to each other and world peace and stuff. Oh, but Ron Artest is at the center of one of the biggest scandals or like incidents that's ever happened in definitely American sports. Have you ever heard of the Malice at the Palace?
No,
I haven't, but I want to.
So it was a game between the Pacers and the Detroit Pistons in Detroit. At the Detroit Stadium, the arena is called the Palace at Auburn Hills. That's why it's called the Malice at the Palace. But it was near the end of the game, and Artest fouled one of the Pistons players, Ben Wallace, as he was about to shoot. Wallace took exception to this and two-hand shoved Artest. Really, really shoved him hard. And as soon as that happened, all the teams kind of, it was a bit of a melee that ensued. All of his teammates came from both sides. And Artest kind of just went at the back and he was like, doesn't bother me that you've shoved me. The ref was holding him back, thinking he was obviously going to retaliate. He was like, no, it doesn't bother me. I don't care that you shoved me. The melee kind of moves over to the middle of the court, near the scorer's table. And Ron Artest lays down on the scorer's table as if he's on a sunbed and was just like, doesn't bother me that you've shoved me. I'm chilling. It's like being cocky, basically, that he's
showboating.
Yeah. And he's laying there for literally about 15 seconds whilst all the other teams are pushing and shoving each other, until somebody from the crowd throws a drink at him.
Yes, I've seen
him
this.
in the face, right? Which he goes absolutely ballistic at.
Yeah.
Makes his way into the crowd and finds the person he think threw the drink, which turns out to be wrong, and punches the guy in so
not nice, but
nice.
There's the Lampeter coming out.
Yeah, and then it's just all hell breaks loose. Like his teammates try and go in to get him. Pistons players then go in because he's just punched one of their fans, go after him. The refs are trying to get control of it. They're in the crowd. Other fans are then reacting to what he's done. Everyone's throwing stuff at him, punching him, raining down, and it's just absolute chaos. And finally, they managed to get like the players kind of in the locker room and stuff. But then the fans are just so incensed by this. They're throwing everything on the court. They start coming on the court and start looking for people to fight. And they get them down there's videos of them like being the Pacers players being escorted down the tunnel, and there's just popcorn and beer bottles raining down on every single one of them. And I just thought it was so ironic that he's got the name World Peace when he's absolutely lost his shit when somebody's thrown a cork at him.
Yeah. Well, and also he's taunted people with how peaceful he is.
Yeah. He's obviously trying to say, I've learned from this. I'm this spiritual guy or whatever. But yeah, it's meta world. Imagine. Can you imagine meeting somebody and they say, "Oh, my name's Meta World"?
Well, do you remember
you said he's also got the name of his second wife. So did she have to say, "I take you, Meta World Peace"?
Yes.
To be my lawfully wedded husband.
Yeah.
Well, it's not as bad, but like, do you remember when Joe Lycett changed his name to Hugo Boss?
Yeah, that was
that was funny.
This guy's he's obviously. I love the quote that he's gone. It was meant to inspire and bring the youth together. Like it's obviously failed.
Great job.
What did he think? Like, if I change my name,
that will
everyone around the world will be really inspired by the fact that I've just changed it to World Peace. I mean, what is he thinking? Dan, what have you got?
I've gone for one that's closer to home in Wales. The Welsh Rugby regional change.
Nice.
So when obviously you had your Pontypridd, your Swansea, all of them, Neath and all them as well, Newport, when they all combined, well, they obviously, not all of them combined, but when they went into 4 regions rather than what they had. And some would say that's since then, the downfall's just gone from theirs. I know some people who are Pontypridd fans, they hated the idea and just never went to watch the Cardiff Rugby, and they've always hated Cardiff Rugby and the Blues. I think also as well, even though I'm a Scarlets fan and I've seen Scarlets win the Pro 12, been into European Cup semi-final, since they went from Llanelli to Scarlets and got rid of Stradey Park to Park of Scarlets, seems like on a good day when we got to that semi-final, that quarter-final in Park of Scarlets was unbelievable. It was like 15,000, 16,000 there. But since then, it feels like a soulless bowl, It's just the fans, there's like 4,000, 5,000 fans. I never went to Stradey Park, but I've heard,
I went once.
Yeah.
I went once when I think it was the very first rugby game. I think my grand's a Scarlets fan.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it that well, but I do. It was, your old-fashioned, typical rugby ground. And, my gran talks about the good old days down there, like when they beat the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And, the history and the tradition down there is immense. Llanelli, for anyone who's, outside of Wales, is a very huge rugby town, isn't it? It's massive in West Wales alone, and down in Llanelli, it's everything, isn't it? And yeah, I I think the regions when we kind of grew up with them, didn't we? We didn't really know any different.
I haven't known different, but obviously, looking back, you think like that Neath team that was there, and then it's just I feel like when they've changed to the Ospreys, they've had their golden era as well. But you look at the Liberty now that they moved into St Helens, but it won't be the same as it was when they were Neath at the Knoll.
Yeah.
And they had those, was it the Schweppes Cup or the Principality? It was like these were the big days out. They were, I don't know, it's a shame. I think they should have gone back and maybe I know the funding's not there. Unfortunately, RFC now are no longer a team, so it's just the Scarlets that they've got.
They're not?
Yeah, they're no longer a team, Wow. So their feeder clubs would be Command and Queensland Llandovery.
Yeah.
Do you feel, though, like one of the things people talk about with Ireland being so successful recently and New Zealand over forever is their club system feeds their national team perfectly. Now Wales they're not great right now, but they had been enjoying a period of kind of unparalleled professional era success through most of the 2010s. Do you feel that the change to those regions was a factor in that? And so is there kind of a price that was worth paying? Or do you think that the state of the game now is reflective of a long-term outcome from those regions being created?
I think they need to probably go down to 3 regions. Who
would you get rid of?
I want to say Ospreys, but they can't get rid of the Ospreys. They won't get rid of the Ospreys.
Performed the worst.
Yeah.
And the Cardiff and the Dragons are the closest two together. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, no, you could argue that.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but
yeah, I think the region system did work for a while. Wales rugby has had success, and we've had players. Our main players in the Welsh squad were playing for those 4 regions in the whole. It's where the English
to attract Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, exactly. We were attracting the likes of Tommy Bowe, and it's where the money has gone away from the Welsh game and gone to the English and the French game. As obviously, rugby players don't earn what football players earn, these ludicrous amounts of money. So you can't blame them for wanting to secure their family's future for at least the next probably 2 generations at least. But I think it could work, but I think you need the Welsh Premiership or ERC or whatever it's been called now.
Super Rugby,
whatever it's been called. I think you need that to, as you said about the Irish game, feed into the regions. So I think you almost make it as like a minor league system that they have in America. So say you had 12 teams, you got 4 regions. Each region gets 4 teams in the SRC or whatever it's called that feed into them. So like the Ospreys have Neath, Swansea, Bridgend, Merthyr, whoever's in it. And you can send players down and bring players up into those sides. Young players, if they're not playing in the Ospreys team or the Scarlets team, whatever, can go out and get a run out on Saturday, get fit, get some form behind them, and then they can be brought into those sides. And similarly, players who might be struggling or have had an injury or something, who need to get fit or need to get match sharp, can go down to that league. I think I don't have the answer. I don't know whether it work perfectly, but I think that might be. Will, what have you got?
So mine probably doesn't pull on the heartstrings quite as much as losing your local team at the top level in Wales. But when I was a kid, I got into F1, and my favourite team was Jaguar. It was a British team. They raced in British racing green. Their cars looked amazing. They had the Leaper Jaguar logo on the back of the car. And I was reminded of that this week when you said you wanted to do rebrands. And of course, we're in the middle of Jaguar rebranding themselves as an EV manufacturer, which has enraged a load of old gammons saying that Jaguar's going woke and that they can't. They're furious about it happening. And I understand the attachment to the old brand and the cars they used to make, but the fact is they weren't selling those cars and they were losing money. So it's either they cease to exist because they keep doing the thing they've done, or they come into the modern era. As it was for Jaguar and F1, though, sadly it meant they did cease to exist because they were bought by Red Bull. And you were talking about in America how it's common for teams to be bought by someone new and they move them to a new city, give them a new name, new colours and stuff. I didn't realise this happened in Formula One. I was used to the teams that were in there as a kid, And then all of a sudden, my favourite team gets bought by Red Bull. I was too young to drink a Red Bull. It would have given me a heart attack.
But you were old enough to drive a Jaguar.
On the PlayStation, yeah. I was absolutely furious that this team was going, and it stuck with me for a long time. As it was, I begrudgingly ended up following Red Bull because they also had the bull on the back of the car, and it looked a bit like what Jaguar had done. They kept the same drivers for a bit and stuff, and so I supported Red Bull until they became insufferable with
seems to happen every year.
Verstappen. But it
seems to happen every year now, doesn't it? Teams change in F1.
Well, I was going to say, when I was kind of following F1 8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Looking now, the whole so many different teams. It's just like
you're a GAA's man now, aren't you?
I am a GAA man now.
No time for F1 now.
No, bloody hell, no.
I can't keep up with them. I loosely follow F1, and obviously Drive to Survive was great. But I think like next season now they're having even newer is it
Chevrolet coming in? General Motors are coming in as a new team.
BMW as well, is it?
Audi's getting Sauber, which were Alfa Romeo just a few years ago, having been Sauber for a long time.
So before we carry on, do you remember when Button was racing?
Brawn.
Yeah. Who took over Brawn?
Brawn became Mercedes, which then became one of the most.
It seems like every car brand is going. We're going to have a Peugeot.
We're going to have a Fiat 500. Yeah.
Peugeot has had an entry in Formula One previously. I think Prost was involved.
Smart car.
Smart hasn't.
What about Robin Reliant?
Yeah. Each model's got its own F1 team.
But yeah, I mean, you look through. Yeah, most of the major car manufacturers have been involved in F1 at one point, but. I mean, Jaguar makes such stunningly beautiful cars. When in the old days, what an engine sound they would make. There is nothing that beats the Jaguar Type E in my mind as a proper driver's car. And so that was what I loved about Jaguar in F1, and that was what I felt was lost when they became Red Bull.
Yeah, it's. I've driven a few Jaguars, and they're. No, I used to work in car rental.
Let me guess, you work for the biggest UK rental car company.
The biggest in the world, mate. I get it right? Yeah.
Okay, we can't give them advertising now, can we?
No, we're not going
to. Maybe you could. Yeah. This is your plug.
Yeah.
Please
Enterprise, if you're watching.
You've just given them free advertising.
Yeah, you're going to cut that bit out and say, could the largest car hire company in the world, who I used to work
for... Come to customer services. Yeah. No, they'll pay me.
I believe they ceased to pay you.
Yeah, they did because I quit. No, but
maybe they'll have an F1 team.
Yeah, it would not. Yeah, something like they.
But each week it's a different driver because it's just whoever's hired the car that week. that'll be how Alan next gets to drive the Jaguar.
We were on about that fan-led league the other day. It's going to be like an F1 league where they just. They vote for whoever they want to try. It's pick it out with Tom Bowler. Yeah. So it's Mark from bloody Kilmarnock is next in the seat. Moving on to our Millennialsmen. Dan, I'm going to come to you first.
Right.
Who have you got?
He's my favourite ever cricketer, I'd say.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Can we guess? Can you give us some clues and we'll see if we can guess?
Okay, right. I've got a great fact for you now, right? His test strike rate is the third highest of any male English batter to have scored at least 1,000 runs after Harry Brook and Ben Duckett. He was a member of the England team that won the 2010 ICC World T20. He played
How did we come up with that? And he's got the stat in front of him. Yeah. But he didn't say the right year.
I just found out this.
No, you didn't because you had it prepared.
I'm not going
to say what he did, but he was also capable late order batsman with 4 first-class centuries and off the field at a second slip. He played for Northampton and Nottinghamshire.
Was he a keeper?
He's an Ashes winner.
No, he fielded.
He also took part in
slip.
Strictly Come Dancing. He is.
I know.
Go on,
Graham Swan.
Graham Swan.
And to be fair,
Graham Peter Swan.
That I didn't get that from a little bit. I got
You
that
got
from
it
the
from Strictly Come Dancing.
but I was going through it and I was like, lower order batsman yet, Notts yet, yeah.
Bloody loves Graham Swan.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's
In
my
fact,
first
you know-
memory. I just remember watching him and I was like, he's so good.
He can outdo Alan for. He can outdo Alan for impressions. So that's who we need to aim to get hosting this pod.
When I searched up his name, one of the options that came up was accents. I was like, or impressions. I was like, oh, I'll have a look at that later.
His impression of Kevin Peterson is just a
Oh,
joy.
I might have seen this actually. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Who's the other one you get? The South African commentator. I've forgotten his name.
Tony Gregg.
Tony, like that one's brilliant. The Michael Holden one is brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to get him on. Yeah, he was such a character as well, wasn't he? I think he was.
And he always looked old, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
well,
he did.
he came in a bit later, as is often the case of spinners, I suppose. But like Ashley Giles had been great in 2005.
Yeah.
Hadn't really been able to go on from there. Monty Panesar had flickers of being a good spinner, but a walking wicket. Then when Graham Swan came along and could properly turn the ball, could hold up the tail as well. It just changed. Without Swan, I think he's one of those players in that side that became World Test #1, where you take him out, I'm not sure we would have done it.
I remember the shades on when he's in a period of bowling. He had quite a strange action as well, didn't he? And he always had Matt Pryor behind the stump. And Matt Pryor, I still say this when I play cricket now. I don't keep wicket or anything, but if a spinner moves one past the bat a little bit, or it goes, I will always go oi after it, because Matt Pryor said that after every ball, for every forward defensive or whatever, he'd go oi, like as if he knew Swan was going to take a wicket with every single ball. He was expecting Swan to take a wicket.
My version of this, I'm slightly embarrassed to say that it's the Aussies, and it also does age me above you. My version is Gilchrist to Warne. Nice ear-ish, ain't just every time he gets it to spin.
What they got now when Nathan Lyon's like, nice, Gary.
Yeah. Will, who's your Millennialsman this week?
My Millennialsman, I've took your off mic notes about us being too rugby heavy last week, and then I knew that Dan was going for cricket, so I've gone for football. The 2006 Football World Cup for me was. It's not the first one I remember. That's so too, but it's the first one where I have vivid memory. Shut up. It's the first one I have vivid memories of, and like had the magazines with all the teams in and stuff, and followed it the whole way through. And I've always loved Italy as a country. Loved their food, loved their language. I think their football team's class, unless they're beating us in the finals of the Euros because they've cheated them. Chiellini's pulled you back by the collar. The 2020 Euros final aside, I do really like the team. They won the World Cup in 2006, and in terms of couldn't have done it without a certain player, their one is Fabio Cannavaro, the rock in defence. He was nicknamed the Berlin Wall because that World Cup taking place in Germany, and Italy actually beat Germany after extra time in the semi-final. Cannavaro got the silver ball for second best player in the tournament, but then became the FIFA World Player of the Year, the first and only to date defender to ever win that award. That came off the back of Calciopoli, where Juve and AC Milan and stuff like that, teams like that were being fined, and in the case of Juve, knocked back down to Serie B because of match fixing with referees. He actually left Juve after the tournament and went to Real. So did Capello before he became England manager. But that image of Cannavaro standing on the podium where the World Cup had been, holding it up in the air with all the Italians around him.
Back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, I know. And he's got that bald head.
Yeah.
And I know. That kit, I can remember. That I think I had like a fake version of it as well or something. But it's kind of crazy, isn't it? The only defender to win a Ballon d'Or ever. You think of Beckenbauer,
Puyol,
Piqué, Van Dijk now, like more recently. Just John.
What about Maldini? Did he never win?
No, he's Cannavaro's the only.
Or even Podolski when Germany won.
He's a striker.
Not Podolski. Who's the one I mean? Who's the little fella in defence?
Philip
Lahm.
Yeah. He was class. Yeah, Philip Lahm was class as well. Cannavaro as well. He was on the Euros coverage, I think, the last Euros on ITV, or might have been the tournament before. Very handsome man as well. Isn't he?
Has he aged well?
He's got like it's like a fine wine.
Do you reckon is it his own rug, or is it, has he gone to Turkey?
Whatever it is, it's working for him. He's pulling it off. Very, very handsome.
I mean, that squad though as well. You got Del Piero toward the end of his career, Pirlo towards the early stage. You got Buffon in goals.
Do you remember who was headbutted?
That Materazzi. Wait, no, did Materazzi?
Materazzi.
Yeah, it was Materazzi. Did do the head? got headbutted by Zizi. Grosso scored the winning penalty. Luca Toni. I remember Mauro Camoranesi getting his ponytail cut off on the pitch.
Yeah.
Gennaro Gattuso, who looked like he could
before
beat you
Daniele
up.
De Rossi, wasn't it? I think he was in the periphery of that squad.
Yeah, I think he was a squad player.
Great holding midfielder he was back in the day. But my Millennialsmen, I am sticking with cricket. We've been very cricket heavy this week. And this guy, not a household name, but certainly one I remember for a particularly special game anyway. And there was a mania around him for a short while. Again, in the theme of 2020, is Graham Napier. Do you remember Graham Napier? Any of you?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, there are people that went through my head as possible Millennialsmen to bring on, and I went, no, neither of you seem to have heard of Rupini Daldal last week. I'll go for someone better known, and then you're plucking out Graham Napier.
Well, let me tell you about him.
Sit back.
He played 179 first-class games for Essex, along with
switched off
T20
Essex
and stuff like that. Scored over 5,500 runs, including 7 centuries, 31 half centuries, with a top score of 96. But he's most famous for one particular innings in the 2020 Cup. On the 24th of June 2008, against Sussex, he scored 152 not out off 58 balls.
Okay, fair play.
He set the record for the highest individual score in a 2020 innings in England and in a domestic 2020 competition. He set a record for the highest number of sixes in a 2020 innings with 16, and the most runs scored in boundaries in a 2020 innings.
So that's 96 runs off sixes. That's 16.
He scored 136 runs just off boundaries alone. He scored 10 fours and 16 sixes in that innings. And he broke the record for the most sixes in a domestic one-day innings and tied the record for the most sixes in any domestic innings. And he had a really solid career, but he was in the squads, I think, in 2010 for the 2020 World Cup. That kind of was his hallmark moment, and he was a really, really good T20 player. Remember, you could bring him on to bowl as well. He had career in first-class cricket anyway. He's got over 490 wickets, 17 fifers, and best figures of 7 for 21 as well. So
Never played for England.
He was an all-rounder, batting at number 3 in 2020 and coming on to bowl his 4 overs as well. And he was a good fielder as well. So for 2020, for that format in sort of 2008, I think Essex won it around that time as well, if I remember right, or at least got to finals day and were kind of in the finals. He was almost the perfect player for that 2020 format. And I just remember I remember that innings being over my mate's house the next day after it, and us watching it back. I think it was on YouTube, early days of YouTube, when they actually had highlights and stuff, or it might have been a rerun on Sky. And we were just
same quality that we saw on Monday afternoon.
Yeah. And we were just like, wow, this. It was almost like we see it now. We see big scores in 2020 now, over 200s, and the likes of Chris Gale and stuff. But that was almost the first time I'd seen anyone just absolutely tee off in a T20, one of the great innings. So Graham Napier is the third.
Sir. He's not a sir.
Huh? No, he said so, but with an accent.
Oh, I thought he said sir.
I've googled him. I've got to say, doesn't he just look like a cricketer?
Yeah.
There's no way he plays football or rugby.
Well,
he's a cricketer.
That's where you're wrong there.
Will.
Because you obviously haven't gone along and you just looked at his face and then he doesn't play football. Well, Napier was on the books of Ipswich Town as a goalkeeper and played for a season on loan at Felixstowe Town.
Okay, moving on to the quiz.
Oh,
I'm so excited about this quiz. Okay.
Well,
So-
get the notepad out.
I've changed the format ever so slightly. Well, not ever so slightly, but so you
Heavily or
it's
or
going to
not
be
at all?
so, it's going to be 4 rounds this week. I've got 2 give me the answer rounds, and they're going to follow a similar format to last week. So instead of having a choice of easy, medium, or hard, you're each going to get one of each. Okay, so there's 6 points on offer in these kind
So
of
how many
rounds.
questions?
In these rounds, so the I've got 2 rounds of that. They're going to be 3 questions each.
Okay.
And then I've also got are these real or fake 2 rounds as well.
Okay.
In those rounds, you are going to give an answer at the same time. So you're all going to do all of the questions. So I'll go through it round by round. Okay?
Yeah, I think we're gonna. Yeah,
You
we're gonna need
keep-
an explanation. round
You
by
tell
round.
me like the scores to put down, okay?
Cool.
Yeah.
And who's leading after the first week?
You were leading at
Yeah.
the moment. Yeah, you were leading at the moment. I believe it's 3
Yeah,
minus
yeah.
3, isn't it?
Oh
at the
yeah, but
moment?
it's 1-0. We'll put it
1-0.
down now.
Okay, cool. So we're starting off with an easy, medium, and a hard. So in this round, so again,
we each get one. We're not buzzing in.
yeah, exactly. So 1 point for correct answer, easy. 2 points for
Okay.
a medium, 3 points for hard, and you lose
Okay.
points on that if you
Same.
get it
So
wrong.
you lose
Same
3 for
rules.
an easy.
You lose 3 for an easy. Yeah.
Coolio.
So maximum of 6 points available in this round. Will you get the choice this week? Would you like to go first or second? So do you want set A or set B of the questions?
I'll
choice.
take set B. Dan can go first.
Okay, Dan. So the first round is, we've been talking about it, English 2020 nicknames of teams.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to name you the county, and I need you to give me the nickname. They might not still use this nickname, but they would have in the past of
Okay.
when the 2020
the
So
noughties.
is it? Do I have to get all of them right for 1 point, or is it 1 point?
No, so the first one's going to be easy.
I get you.
Second
Cool.
one's going to be
Yeah.
medium. Third
Cool,
one's going to be
cool,
hard
cool,
each.
cool.
Okay. So Dan, your first one is Kent.
Spitfires.
Correct. So
Yeah.
1 point
Yeah.
for Dan. Will, your one is Sussex.
Just to clarify, if he doesn't know it, can I take a point off him?
Not.
But if I'm wrong, then I lose.
Yeah, why not? But yeah,
Okay.
why not?
I'll give you
What's
a clue.
annoying is I know this.
I'll just give you a clue. It's obviously going to be alliteration.
This is the easy.
Yeah. I'm going to kick myself because
I'm going to have to push you for an answer.
Sussex Scythes.
Sussex Sharks.
Of course it was, yeah.
So he loses 3 points.
Yeah, Dan gains the point. Okay. This quiz. This quiz isn't. I don't think it's going to go. This round, at least, is not going to go well for you.
Well, yeah.
Dan, your next one, medium, is Derbyshire.
I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. But I'll go for it. Derbyshire Falcons.
Correct.
Fair play.
Correct.
Oh, no alliteration there.
Will, Worcestershire.
Oh.
It's not the best. That's Warwickshire.
Do you know this?
Mm-hmm.
Alliteration again?
No.
I can't give any clues if you want to give him clues. That's fine.
Fine. Yeah, there's no alliteration.
Rabbits.
Oh, you're quite close.
You got the letter right, Dan.
Worcestershire Rapids.
Correct.
Oh, that what a ridiculous name.
I guess it floods a lot around there, doesn't it? Is that why they've gone for it? I think is it Grace? No,
Oh,
Grace Road's
yeah.
Leicester, isn't it?
Grace Road to Leicester. Yeah, it could be County
New
Grounds.
Road, I think, is
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
no.
flood like hell
it
there.
floods like anything. Okay, Dan.
So 6 points to -5 at the moment.
Okay,
Stupid.
plenty of time. Your hard one is Northamptonshire.
Northants,
Northants.
Steelbacks.
Correct. Correct.
God.
Will, Middlesex.
Ooh.
They do not use this name anymore,
No.
and they haven't for some years.
That,
There is a clue. There is a clue in their branding. It's quite a niche clue. I'm not giving you any more than that.
I don't know it, so I won't be able to steal a point there. 3
In their
points.
kit.
their
there's a
pink
niche.
and navy blue kit.
It's quite a niche clue. But it'll make sense when I tell you. I'm going to have to push you for an answer. Because we've only got it booked for till 5.
Middlesex. Tulips.
Do you know?
Don't. If I had a guess, can't lose a point there, can I?
No, you can't. No.
I would say there's something like Middlesex Royals.
No, it's
that's a different. No, that's
Yeah.
Bangalore.
That's Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
So
Even wrong there.
It was because they play in a pink kit, the Middlesex Panthers. The Pink Panthers.
Pink Panther.
So it's got a niche clue, but okay, a disastrous round for Will there, and a very good
-6.
round for Dan. Never mind, we're moving on to
What are you
round
on,
2.
7?
I'm on 9.
How are you on 9?
Because I had one. When I steal an answer, do I only get 1 point? I don't get the 2 points.
Well, it's an easy question.
No,
so
I got 101. Then I stole the Worcestershire one.
Yeah, you're only getting 1 point.
Okay, so I'm on-
Yeah, you're only getting 1 point for
I'm
a
on-
steal.
8.
Okay.
Is that okay?
should we go home?
Right, the next round.
Got to overturn 14 points.
The next
This is
round.
gonna
Years of experience
This
is
is
not
going to
helping
have to
you.
be like Fijian players from.
The next round. These are only just worth 1 point. Okay, straight
Okay.
up 1 point.
Ah.
No, there's another round of the other ones, so don't worry. The IPL started in 2007. What I want to know is, were these teams ever IPL teams? Okay, so these are either disbanded teams that no longer exist,
Okay.
or ones I've made up.
Okay.
Okay. First one, the Ahmedabad Warriors. Real or fake?
Oh, do we say the same time, or do I go and then
You can go on. I mean, it's a yes or no answer.
It's
You're not going to give
It's a fake.
much away.
I think it's a fake as well. I think Ahmedabad has had a team, but not the whatever you said.
That one is fake. 1 point to each of you.
My aim is to just get past 0 today.
You're on -5.
Second one is the Deccan Chargers.
That's real.
That is real. You had the bull, like a Lamborghini bull.
That is correct. Yeah. Do you remember the song they used to have in the background?
I don't.
Used to hit a six. Used to hit a 6 and you go,
to be
Deccan
honest-
Chargers, Deccan Chargers, go, 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 go. Really annoying, but quite catchy at the same time. Third one is Kochi Tuskers Kerala.
Kerala.
Kerala's definitely had a team.
I'm gonna say fake.
Kochi Tuskers.
Kerala. Yeah, Kochi Tuskers.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the sponsor because Tuskers are Kenyan beer. I'm going to.
Tusky. I thought that was Polish.
No, that's
No,
a different beer. Tusker. Like an elephant's tusk.
So you're going fake.
I'm
I'll go
going
fake.
fake.
That one is real.
Okay. So
wow.
do we lose a point?
No.
Yeah.
No. Only on the easy hard rounds. Next one is the Gujarat Lions.
I think real.
I know it's real. No.
Oh,
What is it? Gujarat Titans.
Gujarat Lions.
I know. Gujarat Titans are a real team. Gujarat Lions. I'm gonna go fake.
You're going.
He said real.
I said real.
That one is real.
Will point
wins a
back.
point.
So, but are they now the Gujarat Titans?
They could be.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They could
But
be.
you don't care.
They've been disbanded. Yeah, I think Gujarat has come back.
Yeah.
I think they haven't just renamed. It's a separate club now. Next one, the Nagpur Raiders.
Real. Real bad.
See,
man.
I'm thinking real too, but I don't think he'd have gone 3 reels in a row.
Don't play the algorithm. Play
Nagpur Raiders.
the.
And what do you say? Real.
Did I? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Real.
That one is fake.
I knew I should have.
You could have gained 3 points from me there, but you only gained 1.
Okay. Next one is the Madurai Indian Inferno.
I'm gonna go real for that one.
Fake.
Final answers?
Yeah.
That one is fake.
Yes.
Okay. I've had a bad one this one.
No, I mean not compared to me in the last one.
Last one is Rising Pune Supergiant.
That is...
That's how it's pronounced,
Right.
Pune.
It's true. It's real, I think.
I know Pune's had teams. Rising Pune Supergiants.
Supergiant.
It's a name that could only exist in the IPL if it's to exist anywhere other than your imagination.
My imagination is pretty wild.
It is pretty wild, and your places in Leicestershire.
Loughborough.
Foxbury. Real. Fine.
That one is real.
Yeah. They were in here a few years ago, I think.
Yeah. They also had the Pune Warriors as well.
Kings 11
before that.
Punjab.
That's a different
Yeah.
place. Completely.
Yeah.
Should we cut out the bit where Dan sounds like a racist? Okay, round 3 is back to the format.
What's the scores?
It's 11 points to -1.
Okay, so you cut the gap. You closed the gap a little bit.
I'm closing
You
in
might
on
be in the
my
positive.
Okay.
on my target of 0.
We're back to the same format again. So
Please
you're
tell
gonna
me it's not the same set of questions.
you're gonna get an easy. Well, obviously not.
But as in,
No,
like,
no,
not
different
more
topic. Yeah,
T20
different
teams.
You're going to get an easy, a medium, and a hard. Okay, so this one, we're sticking kind of with the theme of nicknames. So this one is English football teams, but in terms of their, I don't know what it's not a nickname, but like United, City, Rovers, Albion, all like whether they're called
Okay,
one
don't
of
give us
those.
all the answers now.
Well, no. Okay, so I'm going to give you a team name, and you've got to give me the bit the fault. Is it a demonym? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. That's what it's called now. Who went first? Dan went first, wasn't it?
No, Will gave me the option to go first.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
he didn't give me the option, but
Dan, your first one is Oldham.
Athletic.
Correct. So that's the easy one.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about Will here.
Will, your one is Wickham.
Wanderers.
Correct.
Yes. Can I steal it as well, just in case?
Yeah, but they're worth one. So, Dan, second one is Crewe.
Alexander.
Oh, can I steal?
I've got to give it up.
Crew Town, Alexander. Alexandra.
not.
No, it's not. You said Alexander. It is technically Alexandra, but I'll give it to you. I'm
Is it not
gonna
Crew
do that.
Town?
No.
No.
Where have I got that from?
That's maybe the
So that's 2 points. 2 more points to Dan. Will, Boston. As in Boston in Lincolnshire.
Yeah. Boston Celtics. came to
I
mind,
know
but
this as well.
Boston Town.
Boston United.
Correct.
So
Dan
what-
steals the point.
And you get a -2.
Yeah.
You're back in the negatives. You need this one to finish on. Is it the last question
Yeah,
of the quiz?
it is.
You need, yeah.
Dan-
Of the quiz.
No, one more round.
Just-
I'll get in.
Dan, Kidderminster.
Harriers.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Will, Farsley.
What?
You picked the set B. You picked it.
Yeah, but
I
not,
think-
not having seen the
Kidderminster's
questions, I
hard.
didn't.
Kidderminster's
I think I know this as well, but
I'd have got
don't know.
Kidderminster. Farsley, Farriers.
I'm not gonna. I don't know it, but you say the answer. But I think I'll say
You can steal.
I can. Yeah. Athletic.
No. Farsley Celtic or Celtic,
Okay.
however it's pronounced.
So -3. No, -1 there.
-1.
So you're on -3.
What's the score?
18 points to -3.
These quizzes are stupid.
You chose the set of answers.
Yeah, I reckon you would have done. As in, if you picked set A,
I
think
definitely
you
would have got Kent Spitfires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about North? Yeah.
Okay, last round.
No, I
right.
wouldn't have got
This
Northampton
one,
Steelbacks.
this one really is. This is the most fun round. This is one I've been looking forward to all day, and I think you're both on a really even footing on this one. Okay, so these are.
That's not what I need. I need a footing where I'm weighing it.
So this is you can't win anyway because
Yeah.
it's the thing. So these are some. Again, it's real or fake. There are some absolutely crazy names in college American football. Okay. So I'm going to read out some names and you're going to tell me whether they are real. Again, you're both answering on each of them. This time we've got 10 because they're really fun. So the first one, real or fake, Major Burns.
Real.
Oh, players.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said teams.
No.
Real.
Real, yeah.
That is correct. He is real. He plays for LSU. Major Burns.
Give me a sec. I don't know why I started coughing.
Second one is Hot Rod Fitton.
Fake.
Real.
He is real. Oh my God. Plays for South Carolina.
That's wild.
University of South Carolina. Third one, Jamiroquai Rogers.
Real.
Fake.
He is fake. Fourth one, General Booty.
Real.
Real.
He is real.
Yeah, that one.
Do you know?
Yeah, that the same with the first one.
He's a
Major.
quarterback for Oklahoma.
You
General
can't-
Booty.
Congratulations to Will, who cannot finish under a minus.
Yes.
Next one, Jaguar Dillon.
Oh, back to the
And I
Jaguar.
did not plan that.
Yeah. False.
Real.
He is fake. Will is coming back into it. The coldest Crawford.
Real.
Real.
He is real.
How do you know? Do you?
Yeah, I remember there is like the reels and the memes of these, and they are. There's the Key and Peele piss take ones,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't be surprised if you've chosen some of those as your fakes.
I actually haven't. I
So
actually made
that was
them up.
real.
But these
That one's
real
real.
ones.
He plays for Nebraska. Rowdy Beers.
real.
No, fake, surely.
He is real.
Nice.
Number 8, River Rapid Rodriguez.
River Rapid does ring a bell. Rodriguez doesn't.
Nobel Peace Prize. and
I'm
all that
guessing.
stuff.
I'm guessing Rapid would be a middle name.
No, I'm gonna say fake.
Real.
He is fake.
Hey.
London, Maryland.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah, real.
That one is fake.
Oh.
And the last one, Pig Cage.
Real. I want it to be real.
Yeah, but I think I'm just gonna go fake.
He is real. Also
Ah.
plays for LSU. Some honourable mentions there
Yeah.
that I've. Some of these are brilliant. So these are all real. Memorable factor.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid McKinstry. Dude person. Possibly my favourite one. Mobility.
That's a good one.
Fat Watts, like as in
Yeah.
PH fat, and Tiger Shanks. And
Yeah.
there are so many more as well.
I mean, there's the one that's really dangerous for commentators as well.
What's that one?
I'm not gonna. I can't even remember it properly, and I'm not gonna go near it. But it's a word. you don't want.
Oh, right. I know it. Yeah. That is.
You
yeah,
can cut
that-
it out, but if you know.
No, you literally, you can't say it.
Ah, okay.
It's,
Yeah.
and he's white as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the final scores there?
It was 23 points to 4.
I would just
You've got
say,
into positive.
yeah, I got into the positives, and I'm pretty sure I outdid you on the IPL teams as well as that round there.
So you need to
So-
brush up on your nicknames.
When we don't have the silly point system,
Don't
then
hate
I
the
do
game.
all right. And when it's outside the UK, I do better than you. Just a well-travelled man.
Yeah, you are.
You don't need to tell me, son. I've been all around the world. I've lived in the outback of Ivory Coast.
I lived in a forest in North America, the outback. I've had me tea and had me breakfast in
Moscow.
me tea in Wood Street, Nick. Yeah, I've been a part of it. Maybe Paul Sykes. He's not in the.
Yeah, Paul
he's on the
Sykes.
2000s. We might have to bring him into the 2000s and put Paul Sykes on there. But, that has been another episode of the Millennial Falcons podcast. Boys, we all have to do it at the end, okay? So let's face the camera. Thank you very much for listening.
3,
2, 1, goodbye.